Around the tables at Galdo's Caterers, 20th and Penrose, Wednesday, March the 5th. They're more than welcome. It's a $50 ticket. Let them walk on in, pay at the door, and you'll see everybody and anybody.
Perfect.
The Carpenters Union, the Metropolitan Regional Council of Carpenters,
Yeah.
Ed Coriel, has been named our Public Servant of the Year this year, and he'll be honored at that event, and it's going to be a big one.
Beautiful. I'm looking through a copy of the paper, the South Philly Public Record, and I'm looking. You got a lot of advertising.
Yeah.
Including D. Simone.
Oh yeah, people who
a lot of auto ads,
people who advertise in the South Philadelphia paper also get a free ride in the Public Record.
There you go.
So they get a double bubble.
And you got an old associate of mine, Bob Pantano, writing a column, from '98, oldie's '98.
Yeah.
Yeah, WOGL.
It's a fun newspaper. We try to keep it alive and witty, and not make it boring. But some of the stories we run are run way ahead of the dailies.
Well, that's right.
I ran a series, for instance, a few weeks ago on the needle exchange program that the city subsidizes against the wishes of the state. It's an illegal program.
Right.
But it operates under the mayor's administration. Rendell instituted it, Street carried it through, and now Nutter's going pushing it. And they give free needles to junkies, addicts. Unfortunately, the addicts, immediately they get those needles, they start injecting themselves with it and leaving the needles behind on the streets. And under the railroad bridges in Kensington, there's one needle exchange stop that's really a problem for the community.
Yeah.
And the community has felt and proven that over the years this has been going on, crime has increased tremendously in that area. So we fought that for 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We mentioned, we painted the glim picture, the bleak picture, and the positive side of the needle exchange to help the needle exchange people justify their side.
Right.
The Inquirer finally ran it 3 weeks after we ran it. A big expose on page 1. So we like that. We always enjoy beating them.
This is the kind of thing that a small newspaper can do. What kind of staff are you working with?
We have a staff of 11. That includes circulation. That includes bookkeeping. The graphics department is a party of 4. Now 3 editorial.
Great, and I see, it's not just in black and white. It's like all the newspapers of the day has full color. Where's it printed?
The Inquirer and Daily News.
Okay, so they you worked out a deal with them where they print it for you.
They're union labeled.
Right.
We represent the unions, and the unions have said to us, support our union publishers. So we did. And they turned out to be rather inexpensive compared to other papers.
Okay.
They're on the mark, competitive, so we're happy. But Tierney, before he bought the Inquirer,
right.
When I first poached him because he had Tierney Communications,
right.
They handled a lot of advertisers in the city of Philadelphia. We went up to see him and he said, my God, you stole the niche from me. That was the thing I was going to do. What made you think of it? I said, I'm a politician.
Exactly.
The politicians know the politicians need paper. And this is the only paper, if you read it weekly and you don't know a thing about politics, you get educated
in
how the system works.
Yes.
The behind-the-scenes movements, the technical facets that occur, what needs to be done to get nominated. It's all there. It's like going to school and becoming a political science major.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We have a few minutes left. Let's talk a little bit with the time we have left about Jimmy Tayoun, the politician. How did you get the urge to get into politics? Because you were a businessman.
Yeah,
You're a restaurateur.
I ran for councilman at large way back when, as an independent Democratic primary, and I almost won. And I dragged a camel behind me, and I put a fez on. And I was promoting my restaurant at the same time I was running for office. I figured a double bubble.
Why not?
I played Greek music on the soundtrack. There was an overline from one of the old popular DJs at the time. I forget his name. He'd say, "Vote for Jimmy Tayoun in the Democratic primary. What council needs is a camel guide to give it some direction."
What district were you from? Did you
it was citywide.
Oh,
at
large?
Yeah, and I almost won, but I lost. But that's what got me started. People saying, "Why don't you run? Why don't you run?" And then other politicians in the neighborhood, city committee people said to me, "Please run for state representative." we need a Democrat in office. We've
Mhm.
got a Republican there. They control the seat. Took a battle, real battle.
Yeah.
I won the primary against another Democrat, Buddy Cianfreni, who may have so rest
Oh,
in
sure.
peace.
Yeah.
Senator Cianfreni had a candidate. I beat his candidate in the Democratic primary by 94 votes. And I went on to beat Judge Saldana, who's also used to be president judge of traffic court, after he lost the state house by 174 votes. So a
Right.
lot of my life in politics has been by slim margins, except for a period of time where there were big margins.
But you're there.
I was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I had to go to jail because the feds felt I was cheating them out of money. It turned out that the money they were looking for boiled down to $88,000 over an 11-year period. 11 years of investigation of my income taxes,
Really.
of which 58,000 belonged to a house that I was fighting them over. But it said I didn't make any money on the house. They said you made money by selling it. So that was the battle, but I went to jail. So
But you don't seem bitter about it.
no, it's an experience. I felt bad for my family. My wife paid the price.
Oh, sure.
God bless her. She's sitting here with me.
Yes.
She put our kids through college, all of them. The three of them are now doctors, thanks to her.
3.
Yeah, she sweat.
Wow.
Thanks to the kids.
I was
Yeah.
relaxing in prison, and she was out here sweating,
Yeah.
putting it together.
And then you wrote a book.
You know why? Because in prison, I used to watch these guys come in, and they didn't know what was going on. And one day, a doctor came in who was involved with the wrestling.
Steroids?
Yeah, the steroid scam.
Oh, yeah.
He became the fall guy because he was giving them the steroids because they were told to take the steroids, and he had administered it. And he had taught my son, who was an intern, up in Hershey,
Yeah.
and he was from Harrisburg. And as soon as they saw me in the prison, he said, "Jimmy Tayoun, you got to tell me what's going on. I don't know what to do." So I sat down for 2 hours with him. I set up a meeting time with him, sat with him for 2 hours, answered all his questions. I said, "My God, let's do a book." So I did a book. My wife sent it out to 20 publishers. Two came back. One said, "You pay, we'll publish," and the other one says, "Congratulations, you're a publisher, we're going to publish it at no cost." And we ran that book through 6 editions
Really?
over a 10-year span, and I finally gave up. The publisher says, "You're my bestseller. What do you want to do?" I says, "Cancel it because some of the stuff may be outdated, and I don't want to have to go back.
No, exactly.
I don't want to have to go back to prison to learn how to
Exactly.
do that."
So you have a real right hand mate here in your wife.
More than the right hand.
Yeah.
Folks. Let me tell you, let me just say this, and let me get parochial. We've just celebrated our 50th anniversary.
God bless you.
And
Yeah,
I'm very fortunate.
yeah, my wife and I are working on our 41st, so
Close.
we got a little bit catching up to do, but we're pretty solid like you guys are. It would be, I have to, since you are a politician, a consummate politician, have to ask you about the mayor, Mr. Nutter.
Mr. Nutter is going to do things his way. Mr. Nutter is going to protect himself from a lot of political pulling and tugging. He's going to move, but albeit, unfortunately, very slowly because he's a micromanager. That's the way I see it. He's giving his people a lot of power, but in the end, I see him wanting to take some of that power back and overlook everything that's being done. But he'll make the right moves.
I know he has an ambitious agenda. You think he's going to do okay with it?
It's going to be a hard road to hoe.
Okay. Listen, we're out of time. I want to thank you, and I want to invite you back to the corner table if you want to come back in maybe a couple of months or whatever.
I love having martinis at the Martini Lounge.
How could you beat it? Listen, Jimmy, we're out of time. A pleasure. And continued success with the record and any adventure that you decide to do in life. And as for you, my friends, I hope you'll join me again next Saturday morning. We'll set a place for you right here at the corner table on Martini Lounge Radio. Great.